friends, I am Vaibhav Srivastav from Vaibhav E-Learning Academy. Today we are going to start a new topic in biology, that is biological classification. This is our part number 1. So now what are we going to discuss in this biological classification? Biological classification is a chapter in class 11th NCERT. Before starting a new topic, we always have some questions regarding that topic. First question, what is biological classification? Second question, why did we need a biological classification? And third question, how did the biological classifications come in the use? So first one, biological classification. As the name suggests, biological classification, it means that classifying the biological items. Biological items, what are the biological items? The biological items are organisms and some plants and some other, every different living being is known as a biological organ. Not biological organ, biological item. So biological classification, classifying the different organisms under some circumstances and under some groups are known as biological classification. So first question, what is biological classification? Is done. Second question, who invented the biological classification? In biology, when we use the term invent, here we do not mean making something. Here, inventing means finding something in biology. So, who invented the biological classification? The first attempt was made by Aristotle. Aristotle was born in 378 BC. He was born in 378 BC. So Aristotle was the first scientist. He is actually known as the father of biology. He was the first person to classify organisms into some different types. So what he did, he classified into two types, plants and animals. So plants and animals. In animals, he classified them into two parts. First part is who had red blood. So who had red blood? Here red blood comes like humans, lion, etc. One who has red blood. Here we are talking about the past, so we are using had. The second one who did not had red blood. Example, cockroaches. So, those who had red blood and those who did not have red blood. First, red blood like humans, lions, etc. and who did not have cockroach. For example, cockroach, and I think even octopus doesn't have red blood, they have blue blood. So this is what he classified the animals into. In plants, he classified them into three types, which we mostly use nowadays also, because like in the plants, we do not use that scientifically, but we use this word in our daily life. First one, herbs. Second one, shrubs. And third one, trees. So Aristotle was the first person to classify the different organisms in different groups. First group was known as the plants group. Second group was known as the animals group. For plants group, he described them in three different types. First, the herbs. So the herbs are the short plants, for example, grass. The shrubs are the plants which are a little bit taller than the herbs, so they are known as shrubs. Then the trees. The trees are the largest plants. They are the largest organisms in the plant biome. In the plant kingdom. Then in animals, he had described them into two parts. First part was the animals who had red color blood. Like even humans have red color blood, right? So first thing what he did was who had red blood. For example, humans, lions, etc. The second part was who did not have red blood. So who didn't have the red blood? Cockroaches and I think octopuses also. So he classified them into these parts. But this type of classification was not adequate, because there were so many organisms which were microscopic, and at that time there were no microscopes also. So he wasn't able to classify different organisms such as algae and cyanobacteria, and these organisms he wasn't able to classify them. We can't group them in either plantae or animals. So like it is known as plantae and animalia. So this was found good till the earliest 1700s. In the 1700s, one scientist which is known as Carl Linnaeus, he discovered two kingdoms of classification. Carl Linnaeus discovered two kingdoms of classification. So let me write that down. The second one we had Carlos. Actually, his name is Carlos Linnaeus. He proposed two kingdom classification. First kingdom was known as kingdom plantae, and second was known as kingdom animalia. Plantae and animalia. So here, what he did was this in the plant, like he had he has differentiated them in the basis of two things: plantae and animalia. So in plantae and animalia, what is the difference? So here he had just taken some simple points to describe the differences between plants and animals. So Carl Linnaeus, he was born in 1707. He was born in 1707 and he described these things in the in the time of 1700s. So this was his classification, Carl Linnaeus classification, which was plantae and animalia. Now, what was his fault? So his fault was that he had included algae, Spirogyra, etc. into plantae. He included them into plantae, and in animalia also he had included many organisms which were not coming under the animalia kingdom. So this one was used for a long time. It was used until 1968. It was used until 1968. But still, here there were many different points which concluded that this Carolus Linnaeus two kingdom classification was inadequate. Then there were more times which was going on. There was a time period of 18s, then there was a time period of 1850s, 1870s, 1890s, 1900s. So like this, from the two kingdom classification, it turned into 3, then 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Nowadays we have the 5 kingdom classification. Who discovered the 5 kingdom classification? The 5 kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. Now we have the 5 kingdom classification. Five kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. It was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. There were 5 kingdoms in his classification. The first kingdom was no need to write kingdom always, it will take space otherwise. First was Monera. Kingdom Monera. Second was Protista. Kingdom Protista. Third was Fungi. Kingdom Fungi. The fourth one Plantae, and the last one, as we all know, Animalia. Kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Now, what organisms or which organisms came under all these kingdoms? First one, in Monera, the sole members of Monera are bacterians. So here we had bacteria, cyanobacteria, which is also known as BGA, blue-green algae. And we also had some different types of bacteria like methanogens, halophiles, thermoacidophiles. We'll be discussing about them in different types of Monera. Like there were two different types of Monera, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. We'll be discussing them in the next video. So here in Monera we had bacterians, cyanobacterians. So these all were under Monera. Under Protistas we had dinoflagellates, slime mounds, euglenoids, and some other different organisms like chrysophiles also we had under Protista. Then under fungi we only had the main fungi. Fungi had some different types like bryophytes, like not bryophytes, there were some different branches of fungi also. In Plantae we have 5 phylums, like we have 5 phylums in Plantae: Bryophytas, Angiosperms, Gymnosperms, Pteridophytes. So these are the phylums in Plantae. In Animalia we have 11 phylums. We'll be discussing them in some other videos. We have 11 phylums: Chordatas, Platyhelminthes, Porifera, Annelida. We'll be discussing them in some other videos. So this is what he had classified, R.H. Whittaker, in 1969, and this one is being used currently. But then, so they are being used currently. Now let us revise once again. First we have the kingdom Monera. In kingdom Monera, bacteria are the sole members of kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera is divided into 2 parts, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Archaebacteria also has some 3 parts. One, that live in salty areas, halophils; that live in hot springs, thermoacidophils; and those who lives in marshy area, methanogens. Next, we have Protista. In Protista, we have many different parts: slime molds, protozoans, chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds. So these are the main things which are under kingdom Protista. In fungi, we have ascomycetes, phycomycetes, basidiomycetes. Then in Plantae, we have bryophytes, angiosperms, gymnosperms, pteridophytes. Then in Animalia, we have the 11th phylum, that is Porifera, Synentrata or Cnidaria. Then we have Annelida, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, and some chordates. Chordates also have different classes. And then we have some more different phylums which will be listed when we will be discussing about the topic Animalia. So, as I was saying, this kingdom is being used currently. But what do you think? How do you think was this classified? On the basis of what? Like, there are some classifications. Like we know, the animals, all the organisms are classified into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. But they were classified into 5 parts on what basis? What were the characteristics used? Was it the cell structure? Was it the nucleus? Was it the reproduction type? So we'll be discussing them now through a table. So let us see the table. We'll be in that table, we'll be discussing about all the different 5 kingdom classification and how they were different. So now we will be discussing a table about how or what are the characteristics on which the 5 kingdoms are classified. We will be discussing about each and every points like cell type, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, nutrition. I'll be explaining each and every points, and if there are new terms like nuclear membrane, I'll be explaining that as well. So we have the 5 kingdom classifications: Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. First, let us write down the examples of each in the small spaces. First, Monera. I can write here BGA. BGA is known as blue-green algae. Then in Protista, I can write euglenoids. Protista, we can write euglenoids. For fungi, I can write fungi, because there are not any specific types of fungi also. For Plantae, I can write any type of tree or plant. So I can write a type. The type which I am taking here is tree. Animalia, I can write humans. before moving on, I'll tell you some important points. So, it is not only that we have the kingdoms. After kingdoms, we also have some phylums, subphylums, classes, families, species, genus. Also, like genus and species, we have all the different derivations of each and every kingdom. So, first one, Monera. What is the cell type? So here, what is the cell type? Here, the meaning of cell type is, you might not know about cell type because I haven't covered that cell type topic. So here, in a cell, there is a nucleus. So, cell type describes whether there is a nucleus or not. So here, Monera does not have a true nucleus. So, not having a true nucleus, you can say it is known as pseudonucleus. Pseudo meaning false or not true. Pseudo means false or it is not true. Like we also have the terms like pseudopodias. Pseudopodias mean false feet. So cell type in Monera is prokaryote or prokaryotic. You can say anything. Prokaryote. So it means that, for example, if this is a cell and here the nucleus is supposed to be there, but here instead of nucleus there is just a similar structure like this. So this kind of structure is known as nucleoid. So it means that the organisms which are prokaryotes do not have the true cell wall. They have, not true cell wall, they do not have the true nucleus. They have false nucleus. That is known as nucleoid. Then protistans are eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, it means, for example, we have a cell here, then we have a smaller cell membrane, then we have some fluid, that is cytoplasm, then we have the cell nucleus, we have Golgi complexes, we have ribosomes, everything we have. So the nucleus, so if you see the nucleus is perfect, so it is known as a true nucleus. True nucleus means the nucleus is there and it is perfectly well and functioning. So protistans are eukaryotes. Fungi are eukaryotes. Plantae are eukaryotes. And animals are eukaryotes. So everything are eukaryotes. Animals, plantae are eukaryotes. Plantae are eukaryotes. Animalia is eukaryote. Fungi are eukaryotes. Protista as well is eukaryote. And then only the Moneras are prokaryote or prokaryotic in nature. Then the second type we have cell wall. So what is the cell wall? So for example, if this is a cell, this cell is surrounded by a thin or thick sheet of a layer. It is surrounded by a thin or thick layer. So this layer is known as cell wall. So there are many organisms that do have cell wall. There are many organisms which do not have cell wall. We will be looking at them. For cell wall in Monera, they are non-cellulosic. What is cellulose? We have discussed cellulose in our nutrition video. They are non-cellulosic. They have peptidoglycan. So if it is not clear here, I'll write it here. Peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. Here peptido means proteins and glycan, glucose. So their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, and the organisms which come under Monera, there are also one type of organisms, mycoplasmas. So they have pseudopeptidoglycan. Now what is pseudopeptidoglycan? It means that they do not have cell wall. It means they have false peptidoglycan. Here, instead of saying they do not have, in biology we use pseudo. Even in physics we have pseudo force, which is equal to false force or not true force. like that only. So their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, which is non-cellulosic. Why do we write non-cellulosic? It is because they are made up of polysaccharides and amino acids. Polysaccharides and amino acids. They have polysaccharides and amino acids. Their cell wall is made up of polysaccharides and amino acids. Then, for Protista, it is just present in some. It is not defined that it is also cellulosic. It may also have some different contents in them. So we can say that protistans have the cell wall, but not in every organism, some organism. In fungi, the cell wall is made up of chitin. So chitin is the cell wall, like the component of which the cell wall is made up of. Then in Plantae, Plantae it is very basic, we already know. Plantae has cellulosic cell wall. Its Plantae's cell wall is made up of cellulose. What is cellulose? Cellulose is a polysaccharide which we have learned in the nutrition video. You can go and watch that. Then kingdom Animalia, no cell wall. Kingdom Animalias don't have cell wall, like that is humans. We do not have any cell wall, or we do not have any membrane which is covering the cell. So this was our second type, cell wall. We have completed cell type, we have completed the cell wall. Now third thing is nuclear membrane. What is a nuclear membrane? So let us take an example. This is a cell and this is the nucleus. So here, instead of taking the cell, we'll just take example, this is nucleus. Just take an example, this is a nucleus. So nucleus is also covered by a small sheath. It is known as the SHEATH. Sheath is like a covering, or like outer protective covering. It is also covered by a sheath. And what is that sheath? This sheath is known as the nuclear membrane. So the membrane which encloses the nucleus is known as the nuclear membrane. We'll be discussing about the nuclear membrane in all the 5 kingdom classifications. So nuclear membrane, if you think logically, nuclear membrane means the membrane which covers the nucleus. And which organisms have nucleus? Eukaryotes only have the nucleus. So you can say that from protistans to Animalia, all have nuclear membrane, but Monera do not have nuclear membrane. Why? Because they are prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means they do not have nucleus. Then where will be the nuclear membrane? So we can write here absent. Here we can write present, present, present. So nuclear membrane is present in protistas, fungi, Plantae as well as Animalias, but they are absent in Monera. Why are they absent in Monera? It is because the Moneras are prokaryotes. Now we have body organization. So we have completed nuclear membrane. Body organization. So let me tell you what is body organization. So we all know that the organism starts from a simple thing which is known as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. So when cytoplasms combine with some other organelles, they form cell. When a group of cells of similar function, it is not like one cell is performing one function, other cell performing other function. No. A group of cells structurally and functionally similar is known as a tissue. So a group of cells form tissue. A group of tissues functionally and structurally similar are known as organs. A group of organs which are a group of organs which are used in a similar structure or which are used in the similar functions are known as organ system. A group of organ systems combine to form organism. In the this one we don't usually take, but we just take till organ system. Let me give you an example. Cytoplasm, as we all know, cytoplasm is the fluid which is present inside the cell. From cytoplasm to cells. There are many organisms like algae which have cellular body. Then tissues. There are many organisms who have tissue body like in Animalia poriferans. Then organs. Some types of tissues form, for example, let us take liver. Not liver, let us take kidneys. Okay, for example, if we take kidneys, a group of tissues aggregate and form kidney. So kidney is an organ. Now the organs, there are not only kidneys, there are like we can take here urinary bladder, you can take urethra. So if you take urethra, urinary bladder, kidney and combine them in one, they form one system. What is that? Excretory system. So that excretory system is an organ system. Here instead of kidney, if you take heart, arteries, veins, so if you combine them all, they become organ system. And when two or more organ systems combine, like in humans, digestive system, endocrine system, nervous system, circulatory system, muscular system, skeletal system, all these kinds of systems combine to make an organism. But in biology, we do not take organism as a separate thing. We just stopped in organ systems. Even humans are under organ systems only. So this was what is body organization. So let us learn about the body organization of each and every kingdom. So monerans. As we know, monerans, the sole members of monerans are bacteria, and bacteria are always cellulosic. So cell. Then in Protista, if you take eulinoids, slime moles, crastophytes and pterophytes and dinoflagellates, if you take them all, they are also cellular only. Cellular. Then if you are talking about fungi, now fungi, like this is the main thing, fungi are always multicellular. Multicellular or multicellular, but there is an exception, yeast. So let me write down like a star over here. So yeast is an unicellular fungi. This is an exception. Yeast is an unicellular fungi. That's all. Only yeast is an unicellular. All the other fungi are multicellular or multicellular, whatever you say. Then we have plantae. So plantae also come under different types of body organization, in which most are organs. So most of the plantae, like the plants which you see, are mostly combined of organs only. They have only the same organs. They do not have organ system. Some of the plants have tissue type. Like there are many small plants, microscopic plants also, microscopic organisms which are grouped under plant. So you can say that they come under plantae. In Animalia, we have cellular, tissue, organ system. So we have all the types of body organization in Animalia. There are many types of cellular. Then we have many types of tissues like poriferans. We have many organisms which are wholly having organ, maybe cnidarians or cylinderates. Then organ system, we have the class Mammalia. They also have the organ system type. So this is about body organization. Then last but not the least, the main point, which is known as nutrition. So nutrition, we had discussed this topic in our nutrition video, that there are two types of nutrition: heterotrophic and autotrophic. Heterotrophic nutrition and autotrophic nutrition. Now heterotrophic nutrition has three types, that is a saprophytic, symbiotic and parasitic. We also have holozoic, but holozoic is only in mammals, or if you classify more, holozoic is only in humans. Then autotrophic organisms or autotrophs are the organisms which prepare their own food using some different sources of energy. For example, if you take algae, so algae is an autotrophic organism. Under some circumstances, they may be heterotrophic. Plantae, all the organisms in kingdom Plantae are autotrophic only. So we'll be discussing that now. So if you want more details about heterotrophics and autotrophic organism, you can check our nutrition part 1 video. Now we have the nutrition. So in Monera, autotrophics and heterotrophic. Now here there is one more point to be noted: autotrophics types of autotrophs which might not be in that previous video. There are two types. One is known as photosynthetic autotrophs and the other one is known as chemosynthetic autotrophs. Now, as the name suggests, photosynthetic autotrophs are the autotrophs which take the food from the sunlight using sun's energy and convert them into food, and chemosynthetic autotrophs are the autotrophs which use some different chemicals to make their own food. So these are the two types of autotroph. So in bacteria we have both chemosynthetic autotroph and both chemosynthetic and photosynthetic autotrophs. So if you take about autotrophic, mostly all the archaebacteria are autotrophic and mostly all the eubacteria are heterotrophics. Heterotrophic example we can take like bacillus. Bacillus like lactobacillus, the bacteria which is used to convert milk into curd. So they are heterotrophic. Then we will be discussing about protistas. Protistas are autotrophic. So in autotrophic there are both chemosynthetic and photosynthetic. They are mostly autotrophics only. So there is one exception, that is Euglena. Euglena or Euglenoids. So Euglena. So Euglena can perform both autotrophic and heterotrophic. It is known as mixotrophic nutrition. Mixotrophic nutrition is a type of nutrition which has both autotrophic and heterotrophic features. So, if the sunlight and proper environments are available, so the euglenoids make their own food. But if the proper environment is not present, so they can eat other organisms also. So, they are both autotrophics and heterotrophics. So, we can write here euglenas as exception. Then, we have kingdom fungi. So, in fungi, all are heterotrophic. In heterotrophic, they are parasitic, symbiotic, saprophytic. So, if you take parasitic, so there are some types of slime molds which form plasmodium. So, plasmodium are like the types of parasites which actually depend upon the higher trees, the roots of higher trees. If you take symbiotic, there is one thing which is known as lichens or lichens. So it is a symbiotic or a relationship between algae and fungi. So the symbiosis relationship between algae and fungi is known as lichens or lichens. Then we have saprophytics also. Now we will be discussing about plantae. In plantae, all are autotrophic with photosynthetic only. So in plantae, all are autotrophic which have photosynthetic autotrophs. So they are coming under plantae. And in Animalia, they are heterotrophs. Which can be of all the different types. So holozoic nutrition, humans perform holozoic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition depending upon other organisms. So mostly all of the organisms are saprophytic and holozoic is only humans. So we have all the different types of nutrition in Animalia. We have covered the fifth one also. So this is the table about how and where, on which characteristics the 5 kingdoms were classified. We had the cell type, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization and nutrition. So depending upon this, we had the whole 5 kingdom classification. Let us revise them once again quickly. So cell type in Monera is prokaryote and in all other organisms it is eukaryote. Cell wall in Monera is non-cellulosic. It is made of peptidoglycan, and in mycoplasm that is pseudopeptidoglycan. And then in protistans, cell wall is present in some. In fungi it is made with chitin. In plantae it is cellulosic, and in Animalia it is no cell wall. We do not have cell walls. Then nuclear membrane. So it is very easy because the organisms which have the nucleus is the organisms which have nucleus, they only have the nuclear membrane. So protistas, or not protistas, prokaryotes do not have nucleus, so they don't have nuclear membrane. So except monerans, all have the nuclear membrane. Body organization: cellular in Monera, cellular in Protista, multicellular in fungi, tissue organ in Plantae, cellular tissue organ system in Animalia. Last one, nutrition: heterotrophic and autotrophic in Monera, autotrophic, like both types of autotrophic, chemosynthetic and photosynthetic in Protistans, heterotrophic in fungi, autotrophic in Plantae, which is only photosynthetic, and then heterotrophic in Animalia. So this was the topic for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. In today's video, we have learned who was the first person to attempt to classify, who discovered the 2 kingdom classification, who discovered the 5 kingdom classification, and there is one more thing which I need to tell you. We also have a 6 kingdom classification. Now, where this 6 kingdom classification comes? This 6 kingdom classification divides Moneras into 2 groups. First group is known as Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, then Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So this forms 6. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video, do like this video, and if you find this video informative, do share it with your friends. Subscribe to this channel if you are new one. Press the bell icon for receiving more updated notifications. See you next time in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.